Okay, this video is to help you get started on the reflections over the X and Y axis, graphing the image, and possibly reflections over the X and Y axis, finding the coordinates on IXL. Okay, translations we did last, those were slides. A reflection is a flip. Okay, you will discover that the image will have the same size and shape, but face the opposite direction as the pre-image. Okay, also the reflection points will be the same distance away from the line of reflection, but on the opposite side. Okay, and I'll show you all this in a minute. Okay, for x-axis reflections, as you do some of these, I think you will realize that the x-coordinate will stay the same, but the y-coordinate will change its sign. So there's a rule, okay, the mapping rule for x-axis reflections is xy is mapped to x opposite y. Just means the x stays the same and the y is changing its sign. Okay, for a y-axis reflection, and again, you'll have to graph some of these maybe to believe me, but the x-coordinate will change sign. Okay, so the rule for a y-axis reflection is xy maps to the opposite of x, y. Okay, y stays the same, the x is opposited. Okay, show you some things here. Here's a picture of a reflection. Okay, now I want you to look at this for a minute. See this reflected over the y-axis. This reflected over the y-axis. Notice it flipped over the y-axis. Notice that B, point B, is one space to the left of the line of reflection, and its reflection point, B prime, is one space to the right. Okay, same distance, opposite side. Okay, point A, for example, is 3 spaces to the left of the y-axis reflection line. A prime is 3 spaces to the right. Okay, same distance, opposite side of your reflection line. Okay, and it's also going to show here the reflection of that over the x-axis. Well, now instead of thinking right, left, you just think up, down. Okay, above, below. See how the second point was one space above? The reflection of that is one space below. Okay, this point was 2 spaces above. When it was reflected over the x-axis, it's now 2 spaces below. Okay, so the points are the same distance away from the line of reflection, but in the opposite direction. Okay, let's take a look at one on IXL. If I wanted to reflect this shape over the y-axis, okay, make sure you're really focusing on the y-axis and not the x-axis. Okay, I'm just going to think about one point at a time here. Okay, C, how far away is it from the y-axis? Okay, it's 4 spaces to the left. So C prime is going to be 4 spaces to the right. Just click. Okay, point B, I know it's kind of bothersome that that dotted line hovers around. Try to ignore that. Point B is 8 spaces to the left of the y-axis. So B prime is 8 spaces to the right. So it's there. Okay, point D is 7 spaces left of the y-axis. So D prime would be 7 spaces right. Okay, so there's a mirror image. Okay, one was flipped to get to the other. Okay, because that won't work. I was just going to show you, sometimes the shapes may, I don't think they're going to do that to you, but let me check. Okay, if you get this far. They won't do that to you anyway. Okay, what I was going to say is sometimes the image will be going over the reflection line, and it looks really, really messy. But if you just follow the rules that I just told you, it'll work. I don't think IXL is going to do that to you like Khan Academy did. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you want to reflect over the X and Y axis just by looking at the coordinates, okay, this is that lesson. Okay, if I have, let's see, they're wanting you to reflect this over the Y axis. Okay, the rule for a Y axis reflection is that the X coordinates change sign, but the Y coordinates stay the same. So if I wanted to come up with the new points of the reflection over the y-axis, I'm going to take all of these x coordinates and change their sign. So a -9 becomes a +9. A -1 becomes a +1. A -1 becomes a +1. A -9 becomes a +9. And the y coordinates will stay exactly the same. I'm just going to type those in. The -9, the -9, the -4, and the -4. Okay, so again, that second lesson over the coordinates is even more optional than the first one. But do what you can, and let me know if you have any questions at all.